Okay, do you want to start out by saying your name and your year in school and when and where you studied abroad?
Absolutely. My name is David Alexander Lank. I studied in London, England, and I'm currently a senior at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
And what do you major in?
I major in economics, which is not a business school major.
Got it. So why don't you just tell me why you studied or chose to study abroad?
Why I chose to study abroad, or why I chose to study abroad in London, or both?
Or both.
All right. I chose to study abroad because I thought it was a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Should I look at you or the camera?
Camera. So,
okay.
Or no, wherever.
I don't know. Interviews, I think we look at the interviewer.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, I'm fucking up your tape already.
It's okay. We can start.
I chose to study abroad because I thought, I don't know where I want to look. I'm going to look at you.
Okay.
I hope you don't feel uncomfortable.
Go for it.
I chose to study abroad because I thought it was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I wouldn't really get a chance to do later in life unless I ended up getting employed abroad. I also spoke to a lot of my family and other older people, and if they didn't go abroad, they thought that it was like kind of their one undergraduate regret, and if they did go abroad, they said it was one of the best experiences of their lifetime. So that's why I chose to go abroad. Why I chose London is because I feel there are a lot of things in my life, a lot of influences, a lot of you know, as far as music goes, a lot of what I listen to, its roots are in London, in England. Culturally, I mean, the United States comes from England. It used to be an English colony, and just everything as far as, you know, geography, and also, you know, they speak the same language, or kind of the same language as we do. So it was kind of an easy shift because I don't really speak a fluent language other than English and Pig Latin. So. Those are some of the basic reasons why I chose London and chose to go abroad in general.
Now that you've been to London, do you think some of the cultural things that you were anticipating seeing that kind of are similar to America or whatnot were realized?
That's an interesting question, actually. I mean, one of the reasons that I just said was that I chose London because I speak a common language, and I soon realized that it is not the same language. There's English and then there's American. And there were at many times people I spoke to that I literally did not understand one word that they said, and I would just crack up laughing and they'd take extreme offense to it. As far as cultural things that were realized, I mean, it takes a very long time to just get used to the fact that they drive on the wrong side of the street. But actually, it's a funny story, when I came back to America, I was driving to my friend's house the first night back, and it was late at night on a weeknight in the summer, so it was like no one else was driving, but I drove all the way there on the wrong side of the street, all the way. And it was really dangerous, but that was interesting. But as far as England, I kind of expected a lot, but I was certainly happily surprised by a lot of the sights and the culture and the people. Pretty much everything I loved there. I don't know about things. It was very similar to my perception of London, though, when I got there.
Other than impacting your driving habits when you returned, are there other significant ways you feel like your study abroad experience impacted you?
I do believe that it impacted me, and I'm going to say the cheesy line first. I feel that it broadened my world perspective, which is really stupid, but I did a lot of traveling while I was in London, and I went to Italy, I went to Prague, Amsterdam, Spain, and a lot of other places in and around England and the UK, Dublin, and, you know, living and staying and traveling in London and living amongst a culture that isn't your own, it really kind of, I guess, in a way, humbles you in one way, and in other ways, like I would say cheers a lot. They say the word cheers like for everything, as please, thank you, like hello, goodbye. I mean, it has an infinite amount of meanings, and you know, in America it kind of doesn't carry the same weight. So when you say cheers, you kind of look like a gigantic weirdo. So other than that, as far as the classes I took a class on pop culture, which was kind of more of a music style class, and I got to learn a lot about the roots of blues music and kind of the dialogue that exists between America and England as far as music is concerned. And being a musician, that was very interesting to hear the British perspective of that dialogue. And it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of new music. So, and a lot of it was actually American too, which is interesting, because Brits are very affected by America because we're a very dominant nation culturally.
Out of class, did you have any other experiences with music? in London?
Out of class? Yeah.
In your
At
travels?
least once a week. I was there for 4 months. At least once a week I went to a bar recommended to me by my teacher of that class that I just mentioned. I think it's called Interpreting Popular Culture was the name of the class. He recommended a bar called Ain't Nothing But the Blues Bar. And it was on 20 Kingly Street in Soho in London, which is right by Piccadilly Circus. And it was a tiny little hole-in-the-wall kind of piece of, I can't swear, and it was really, really dirty and gritty, and the people there were missing teeth, but there was like a very eclectic mix of people. Along with the people with missing teeth, there were like a lot of very trendy type people that wore sunglasses indoors and beanies when it was warm out and stuff like that. But I saw some of the most amazing blues musicians that I've ever seen, and they were all unknown people. Some of them threw together a band like 3 hours before the show and would just perform for 4 hours, and it was just like mind-blowing. And I could sit in the front row, speak to the musicians afterwards. So that was a big part of kind of a musical exploration while I was in London. And I got to just go to a lot of different, strange neighborhoods, and there was live music everywhere, which is a big change from the Madison scene. There's not live music in pubs or bars or anything, and or clubs, and there was a lot of it in England, and I loved that.
Other than music, were there any other experiences that you feel particularly impacted you or your time abroad?
Well, in my program, it was, I think there were 30 women and 6 men. So I got to live with a lot of women, which I've never done before. I live in a house. I have a brother, a father, and a mother, so that's only one woman. It's kind of a male-dominated household. I've gone to camp, lived in bunks with boys, and I have 2 male roommates. So living with that many girls, I learned very quickly how sensitive I needed to be to their needs. So that really isn't a broad experience. It's just kind of a human social experience. But I'm not going to tell you why, but within the first week I was sitting at a table of women, and we were talking, and I said something that men would probably laugh at, but women didn't. And a girl threw a hard-covered dictionary at my face, and I started bleeding. And I learned pretty quickly that I couldn't be that liberal with my speech.
Now that you've been abroad and had the chance to come back from it, kind of looking back on your experience, is there anything that you would do differently in terms of going abroad or choosing where you go, or the things you did while you were there?
I think I did it pretty well, but it's something that I've heard from a lot of other people that have gone abroad is that they're very they're eager to travel when they get to their place. Like I was in London, so people every weekend would want to go to different places, go to Paris, fly away. Some of my favorite weekends abroad were the weekends where I would be in London and get to know my neighborhood and the culture around me and go see the sights in London instead of going and traveling everywhere. I did get to see a large portion of Europe while I was there, and I did a lot of traveling, but there were a lot of people who just went away every weekend. I feel like they didn't really get to experience all that London had to offer. But as far as anything that I would personally change about my experience, I would have gone to Abbey Road because I love the Beatles, and I kept saying I'm gonna go, and then all of a sudden, in like 5 seconds, the whole thing was over, and I didn't get to go, and like I'm really upset about it. So
now you have a reason to go back.
Yeah, exactly.
So you brought something with you, right? A memento from your trip.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have anything for some reason, but there was a museum in London that I actually went to on a field trip in class called the Imperial War Museum. And after I went there, I took a lot of personal visits outside of class. And they had a little gift shop there, and one of the cool things I picked up was this pocket knife, which is, at one point, I don't know if it is right now, but it was the pocket knife that the Royal British Army carries with them. And it has a lot of cool things. It has like a saw and a knife and bottle openers and scissors. And I mean, I know everyone has a Swiss Army knife, but this isn't a Swiss Army knife. This is, a